So my dear friends, today I am going to teach you relative pronouns. You know it well that for spoken English, grammar in moderation is always needed. So that is why I also try to teach you grammar in moderation, only the basic things like parts of speech, tenses, modals, etc. So we are doing parts of speech and we have completed noun and we are learning pronoun. In pronoun, we have completed indefinite pronoun, personal pronoun, emphatic pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, and now today we'll learn relative pronoun. Okay, so let's know what is a relative pronoun. So in relative pronoun, as the name suggests, this pronoun relates with noun. It tells something about noun. Okay, and this relative pronoun is used to make relative clauses and you can say adjective clauses, which is used for making complex sentences. Now, suppose I've taken a word who. This is a relative pronoun. Okay, when this particular word who is used to ask some question, it is called interrogative pronoun. Like who is your brother? Who is my sister? This type of questions. But when this who is used to relate with some noun, it is called relative pronoun. Like if we say, the boy who has stolen my money is Tom. Now, the boy who has stolen my money. So, it is just coming, who is just coming after the noun boy. So, it is relating with the noun boy. Okay. So, this is called relative pronoun, which is relating or connecting with the noun, the boy. So here three sentences are written on the board. First, who is your best friend? Second, who is he? So we find that these two sentences are called, interrogative pronoun, because we see that who is this particular word, who is used to ask a question, So who is your best friend? Who is he? These two sentences are called interrogative pronoun. But third sentence, the boy who stole my money ran away. So in this sentence, we see that here who is relating with this noun boy. Okay. So here it is a link between these two things, these two words. The boy who stole my money ran away. So here this relative pronoun is talking about this boy and it is connecting with this boy, and this boy is called antecedent of this, word pronoun. And the boy who stole my money ran away. So we see that from here, this is called relative clause, or you can say this is called adjective clause also. So here, this relative clause is starting with relative pronoun who. Okay. And the boy ran away. This is the principal clause. And if we remove this clause, who stole my money from this sentence. So if we remove this sentence from here, this clause from here, it would be the boy ran away. So we don't know about whom we are talking, about which boy we are talking. We don't have any idea regarding it unless we add this clause with this boy. Okay. So the boy who stole my money ran away. This is an example of, relative pronoun. So relative pronoun is making this relative clause, and this whole clause is a subordinating adjective clause, you can say, or relative clause, which is, describing this boy, the boy. Okay. Now, so these are the 5 relative pronoun, which are used for, to make relative clauses. First, who. Who is to indicate people as subject. Okay. when we use, like first example as I given you, that the boy who stole my money. So it is used in the place of subject, as the people as subject, you can say. Now that is to indicate both for living and non-living thing, which is, it is indicate for non-living things whose actually it shows possession for people, and whom it is used for people when the person is object of the verb. Okay, now just you can take the screenshot if you want, and then I'll tell you in detail about these relative pronouns. So I've taken 5 examples of relative pronoun who. Let's see. First sentence is, he who follows rules is a real human being. He who follows rule is a real human being. So here we find in this sentence this who is relative pronoun, which is talking about this he pronoun. Okay, it can connect with noun and pronoun both, because we know that noun and pronoun comes in the place of a subject always. So that is why this relative pronoun who is connecting with this pronoun he. So he who follows rule is a real human being. Okay, so here this is, this relative pronoun is making this subordinate clause, he who follows rule. So till here we have a subordinating adjective clause, which is describing this he pronoun in the main clause. So main clause is, he is a real human being. This is the main clause. Okay. Now next sentence, the boy who attended the meeting is my cousin. So in this sentence we find that we are talking about which boy? The boy who attended the meeting. So who attended the meeting? Here till here we have subordinate clause, and this clause, subordinating adjective clause, you can say this, which is telling about this boy in the main clause. Okay, so actually the principal clause is, or independent clause is, the boy is my cousin. Okay, but we need to know about which boy we are talking, so that is why we have put this relative pronoun just after this boy, and this whole sentence, this whole subordinating clause is relative clause or relative adjective clause describing this boy in the principal clause. Okay, so this who is connecting with this boy. Now number 3, the man who broke my window ran away. So we are reading about relative pronoun. The man, actually it is in the principal clause, the man ran away. This is the principal clause, and this relative pronoun, it has just come after this man, and it is totally making this relative clause or subordinating adjective clause, you can say. So the man ran away, this is independent clause, and who broke my window, this is subordinating adjective clause, which is describing this man in the principal clause. So that is why it has just come after this man. Okay, so we know that this relative pronoun who always comes in the place of a subject. So it it describes this man. Now number 4, this is the man who works hard. We are talking about which man? This is the man who works hard. So who works hard, this is subordinating adjective clause describing this man in the principal clause, and this is relative pronoun who. So this subordinating adjective clause is starting with relative pronoun who. Okay, and it is telling about this subject man. I found my friend who has lost many years ago. So here we see that independent clause is I found my friend. I found my friend. Okay. And from here we have adjective clause making complex sentence from which is starting with this relative pronoun. Now fifth sentence is, I found my friend who was lost many years ago. So we are talking about whom? We are talking about my friend. So who is here talking about this friend, which is a pronoun, which is a noun. So I found my friend who was lost many years ago. So here this is relative pronoun who, which is telling about this noun, friend who was lost many years ago. So totally this thing is making whole, complex sentence, and this, this adjective clause is starting from this relative pronoun who. Okay, so I hope you understood about it. Let's know more about relative, pronoun. So my next relative pronoun is that. So we will see something different with this relative pronoun. You need to understand it in a better way. First, all that glitter is not gold. All that glitters is not gold. So here we see one thing that, all is pronoun, and that glitter, till here, we here have this, this is called subordinating clause, which is starting with this pronoun that. So all is not gold, that glitter. So this conjunction, so this relative pronoun that is telling about all things, is not gold, that glitters. Okay, so that is used with sometimes with people and sometimes with thing also. So here all that glitters not gold, it is very common, proverb, everybody knows about it. Let's see the second one. You are the only one that can help me. You are the only one that can help me. So we are talking about only one person. This pronoun, you are the only one that can help me. So that pronoun is, this relative pronoun is used for this person, you are the only one. It means only one person. We are talking about only one person. You are the only one person that can help me. So here, this relative pronoun that has come just after this pronoun one. So indicating a person who can help him out. Now number 3. One more thing which is very interesting, and I would like to tell you that, that can come with sometimes with animals, and sometimes with lifeless object, sometimes with human being too. We knew it. So here in this sentence you will find something very interesting which you must know. The English trainer and his dog that walk every day aren't seen today. Okay. So in this sentence we see that the English trainer and his dog, we are talking about two subjects, okay, the English trainer and his dog. If it were only English trainer, we would have used who for it. If only it were dog, we would have used which for it. But since these two subjects are connected with and, we would use that relative pronoun to show these combination of two subjects. Okay, the English trainer and his dog that walk every day unseen today. Okay, so till here we have, this relative pronoun. It is this relative pronoun, and this relative clause is starting with here, with this relative pronoun. So that walk every day unseen today, that is used for both English trainer and his dog. Okay, same way we see that man and his laptop that was common for everybody was stolen. So here again we see that we have taken two subjects. One is human being and other is a thing. Okay, so if it were only human being, we would have used who for it. If it were only, laptop, we would have used which for it. But since these two subjects are combined, we will use that relative pronoun to show them together. So the man and his laptop that was common for everybody was stolen. So that was common for everybody. Till here we have subordinating clause starting with this relative pronoun, and it is describing about this man and his laptop. Okay. Now let's see about another pronoun, that is which. So our next relative clause is which. We know it very well that which is used for animals, for lifeless things, and we will know more about which. I'm sure that you must not have heard about them, which I'm going to tell you. So first let's see that which is used for lifeless objects and for some animals. The book which is costly is bought by me. So here in this sentence we see that we are talking about the book. Okay. So this book is antecedent of this pronoun which. Antecedent means it just come before it. It's talking about this book. So the book which is costly is bought by me. Okay. So from here we have which is costly. Okay. This is subordinating adverb, which is subordinating adjective clause talking about this book. Okay. And this relative pronoun which, it comes in the beginning of this clause. So the book is bought by me. We are talking about this book. So this is, since it is lifeless objects, we have used which for it. Same way, this is the car which was stolen. So we are talking about what? We are talking about this car. So which pronoun, this relative pronoun which is used for this car. Okay. And totally it makes an subordinate clause, and this is principal clause, because we know that these relative pronoun always makes relative clauses or adjective clauses to make a complex sentence. Now the moment which is lost forever. The moment which is lost forever. So here we are talking about this noun moment. Okay. So that is why this relative pronoun which is used for it. So just see the sentence carefully. You will find that we have used is twice. So this is not actually misprinting. This is the thing, is that the moment which is lost. So till here we have subordinating clause. So that is why this part is different. And this part, the moment is lost forever, this is different. So that is why we have used two, verb is for it. Okay. But this is subordinating clause. In every clause we have subject verb, you know it very well. So this is subordinating clause and this is principal clause. The moment is lost forever. Which moment? Which is lost. Okay. Now number 4, this is the dog which bit me. We are talking about which dog? We are talking about this noun dog which bit me. So which bit me, it is subordinating clause and starting with this relative pronoun which. Now this is the film which was appreciated by all. We are talking about which film? We are talking about this film which is appreciated by all. So this is film is antecedent of the sentence. Okay. So I hope you have understood it well, but I just want to tell you something more about which. Let's say in next slide. Now in this slide I have written 2 sentences. Read these 2 sentences carefully and try to understand what I am saying. The man was considered to be honest, which is not the right statement. So here in this sentence, which is not statement, this relative pronoun which is used, but this which is not talking about one word. We know that, in another example, in previous example, we have seen that which was used for some particular noun or pronoun. This is the car which was stolen. This is the book which was bought. But here in this sentence, we see that this which relative pronoun is used for this whole sentence. The man was considered to be honest. So I just want to tell you that which sometimes used for one phrase or clause or for the whole sentence. Now it is not telling about one word, like it is not telling about the man, it is not telling about the considered to be, it is not telling about the honest, but actually it is telling about the whole statement which is made here. The man was considered to be honest. You can say either it is a phrase, a clause or sentence. Okay, so it cannot be called phrase because it is here we find that verb is there, because in phrase we don't find any verb. So the man was considered to be honest, which is not the right statement. So what is not the right statement? The statement that man was considered to be honest. So here in this sentence we see that this relative clause, which is defining the whole sentence, is telling about the whole sentence. Okay, so which relative clause can be used for one thing which is lifeless or some animals, but it can also tell something about the whole sentence as well. In second sentence, let's see. He said he was in the office at the time of crime, which is not totally wrong. Which is totally wrong. So here we see this relative pronoun which is used for this whole sentence. He said he was in the office at the time of crime. So this relative pronoun which is telling about the whole statement which is meant by that person, that he was in the office at the time of crime, which is totally wrong. So here in this sentence we see that which relative pronoun is actually telling about the whole sentence or clause, but not one part of the sentence. Like it's not telling about the crime, or it's not telling about he, but it's telling about the whole sentence. Okay, now one more thing I would like to tell you, that sometimes we find that which is also used to ask some question. We say that which is only used for animals and for lifeless object, but what about this? Sometimes when we ask some question, you can see in KBC or somewhere else, in some quiz program, when some question is asked, it goes like this, that which of these men are which of these men got Nobel Prize? Or sometimes they ask the question is put like this: which of these players have won the title of this thing or that? So since we know that which is only used for lifeless object and for animals, then why do we use which for players and for men? Actually, the thing is that English language is very what should I say, it's very so many things are here in this language, that the more you study, the deeper you go, you will find that you have to know lots of things more about it. So whenever we have to make some selection, we have to make some choice, we always use which for them. Okay, so which is the only relative pronoun, which, or whatever you can call it, which is used to make some selections when you are choosing from lots of things. When you are going to choose one thing, you will use only which relative pronoun, because apart from which you cannot use any other relative pronoun like who and that and whose and whom. You cannot use these things. Remember, the who and whom, these are precisely made for human beings. Okay, now let's know more about relative pronoun, that is whom. So my next relative pronoun is whom. Okay, now remember one thing, that who and whom, these two relative pronouns are used only for human beings. They are precisely used only for human beings. You must remember this thing. Now just remember the active and passive voice. How did we do it? Who slapped you? Active voice. Who comes in the place of a subject. By whom you were slapped. Who slapped you? By whom you were slapped. This comes in the place of, now whom comes in the place of object. So remember that whom always comes in the place of object. Okay. Yeah, sometimes we say who broke the glass, active voice, by whom the glass was broken. So whom always comes in the place of an object. So this is the lady whom whom I adore a lot. She is the lady whom I adore a lot. Adore means, to praise. So here we see that, whom is working in this sentence as an object. She is the lady whom I adore a lot. So this whom is replacing this noun lady. But actually the subject is I. I adore whom? The lady. So here we see I is subject, adore is verb. But whom has come in the place of an object. This lady is replaced by this pronoun whom. Okay. So she is the lady whom I adore a lot. So here with the subject sentence we see that, this lady is not working. Actually the subject is the subject is I who is working in this sentence. This lady which is replaced by this word whom, it is working as an object in this sentence. Okay, but subject is someone else. I is someone else. This lady is not someone, the subject. In the same sentence, next sentence we see, I met the boy whom you invited in the party. So here this boy is not doing anything. It is done by, you. You is the subject. You invited whom? This boy. Okay. So remember that this whom relative pronoun is replaced for this noun boy. So whom is here working as an, object in the sentence. So I met the boy. The boy, it is this relative pronoun is talking about this boy. But this boy is not subject actually in this sentence. Here the subject is you, because you did the work of inviting the boy. So you invited in the party whom? The boy. Okay. Now, so that is why we have used whom for it. Same way, this is the student whom everybody praises. So here again we see that student is not the subject, but everybody is subject. Everybody is doing some work of praising. So everybody is praising whom? This student. So whom is replacing this noun. Okay. So that is why it has used as an object in the sentence. Do you know the girl whom a principal applauses in the assembly? Applauded. Yeah, sorry, I have written applauses, but it would be applauded. Applauded means to praise someone. Do you know the girl whom principal applauded in the assembly? In this sentence again we see this girl is not subject, because the work of applauding is done by the principal. So principal is here subject in this sentence, and he is applauding whom? The girl. So here we see whom is taken as an object in the sentence. Okay. So hope it has become clear to you. My last relative pronoun is whose. So let's talk about this, Now we have this last relative pronoun which is called whose. So whose is actually, it shows possessions. In noun, when we want to show some possession, what we do that we put s or apostrophe s after the noun. Okay. For living being or for human being, we use s after the noun. Like we can say, for living being actually, for human being we use apostrophe s after noun, like Rohan's car, Mohan's pencil, Ravi's book, like this. But for non-living things, what we do that we don't put s after the noun to make it apostrophe. Rather, what we do to show possession, we use the leg of the car, or the leg of the chair, or we use the windows of the room. So like this we can use. But if we talk about pronoun, we cannot use any apostrophe after pronoun. So to show some possession, we use whose for, in place of possession. To show apostrophe, we use whose. But remember one thing, that whose can be used only for human beings. not for animals and for, you know, anything, but in formal English, not in informal English. In informal English, we can say that, you know, the cat whose ear was, you know, damaged, or the dog whose color was red. In this way we can say. But in formal English or in competitive English, if you use whose with non-living things and with animals, it will not be good or applicable. Okay, so here we see that instead of that we can use the ear of the dog like this. Okay, so let's see some example. The boy whose parents died in the accident is left alone. So here in this sentence we see that we are talking about this boy, the boy whose parents. So we are talking about this position of this boy, that whose parents died in the accident is left alone. Okay, so here whose parents died in the accident, till here we have subordinate clause. Okay, so actually we are not learning the clause. I'm just telling you that from this you know, relative, from this relative pronoun the clause starts. So that is why I'm showing it to you. But my you know, purpose is to show you that how relative pronoun works in a sentence. So the boy whose parents died in the accident is left alone. So here in this sentence the boy is noun, and that is why it's showing the position of the boy, that whose parents, the boy's parents. Okay, the man whose money was robbed came to the police station. So we are talking about this man whose money. So the money belonged to this man. So that is why we have used whose relative pronoun for this man. The man whose money was robbed came to the police station. Okay, so whose money was robbed, till here we have subordinate clause. Okay, the lady whose daughter has become an army officer lives here. So we are talking about whom? The lady whose daughter, you know, the lady's daughter. Okay, so the army officer is this lady's daughter. So that is why we have used whose for this, you know, to show position. The lady whose daughter has become an army officer lives here. But in this number 4 sentence, we can see that a non-living thing, that is a triangle, is used with whose. So a triangle whose 3 sides are equal is used in maths. So the thing is that just now I told you that whose relative pronoun cannot be used for with non-living things or some animal. But here I have taken this example because, you know, when you are using formal English, when you are using your day-to-day conversation, we can use whose with non-living things and with animals too. But if you are studying for only for formal English, for writing or for some competitive purpose, it's not allowed to use whose relative pronoun with some you know, non-living things and with some animals. So instead of this, you can use the triangle which has 3 sides is used for maths. Or you can say the dog whose ear was damaged was died. So instead of using was with this animal dog, you can write that the ear of the dog was damaged. In this way you can write. Okay, but not like this whose for these 2 things. But in formal English, when we speak to somebody, it is you know, applicable in this sense when we are using some informal English. Okay, so hope you understood what I am trying to tell you. So today I have finished my relative clause. Hope you understood it well. So if you like my video, please give like and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.